Yeah, great question. So I say that and this is of course true, I formed the company because I had a really good group of postdocs who were working really well. And we had quite a lot of interest from industry to do commercial projects. And it took ages and, to get an IP agreement through the university and everybody signing off. And then by the time we went back, the company had moved on and they weren't interested, so it was really failing model. And so and somebody in the university said, "Oh, you should form a company." And I was, "Oh no, I wouldn't have the skills, usual thing." And then they said, "No, it's fine. Oh, and actually the other thing I said, which I now find quite funny because I just really didn't understand, this entrepreneur came to my office and he said, "Well, I'll just give you $1 million." And I said, "Oh, no, don't do that. I can't pay it back." And he said, "You don't need to pay it back. I'll just do 10 and I'll put $1 million in each of them. And one of them will work. And it might be yours and it might not be yours." And I was just so surprised because I'd always been, nobody gives you $1 million for nothing. I was like, "Oh, it might fail." And he said, "Yeah, I know it might fail. It's fine." And that was again a kind of a leap into something I had no idea what I was doing. And then none of us did really. We had a CSO and a CTO and a CEO, and they were all from my lab, and we had very little training or experience. So it was a very fun time though, because we had quite a lot of contracts and we used to get excited if we'd won a contract and all of these things. And then we met with Syncona, who were part of the Wellcome or came from the Wellcome Trust. And they just said, "Why are you selling these things so cheaply? Your contracts are very small compared to the value that you're giving to the pharma company. Why don't you keep this in-house and have a drug discovery company?" And sort of, slightly shocked. I was like, "Well, I would never know how to discover a drug." And they said, "No, you of course wouldn't, but we can put the people in." And so that then became a much bigger thing. So to me, I think it's a fantastic opportunity to take something I've worked with all my career and try to find a drug that would be different to a drug in a more conventional cell-based assay. This would be a drug found by screening in the mass spec. I also think it's a great thing to do outside of the lab, because if you have a PhD student or a postdoc, they can't screen, how many have we got? 180,000 molecules for a protein, because it's not what a PhD or a DPhil is about. It's too routine. It's something that needs to be automated and needs to be in a company, because there's a lot of IP issues with molecules and libraries, etc. And to me, that's a perfect thing. I can go in and have a look at the data. It's very exciting to see things that might be active. And I couldn't have done that in the lab without all the support that I've had. So it allows a different stream to your research. It also allows some of the people in my group to transition into industry. It's not for everybody. I get that. Some people want to stay in academia. But there is also this kind of conversation. And I saw on your website that you've had this conversation previously, that not everybody can be an academic. What are the other routes and paths that are equally fulfilling? And the people in the company, the ones who really embrace it, say, well, it's kind of the same. We can still write papers and go to conferences, slightly more paid better and other things. You don't have to be writing grants all the time. So, there are pluses and minuses to both sides of the coin, I guess.